go to habit number 1. Give your kids a sense of connection, purpose, and self-worth by requiring that they pull their weight and participate in the heart, soul, and functioning of the family. That's what they're doing in AA. They're participating in the heart of that group. And are our kids, are they participating? When we do too much for our kids, we rob them of meaning, of value, of a sense of purpose, and connection to the functioning of the family. If things in their life magically appear, oh, here's my lunch, here's my sports equipment, I go here, I go there, but they don't see any connection to what they do bringing them there, they're kind of a little bit lost. So, contribution to a larger whole is where real self-esteem comes from. And your child needs to feel he's making an important contribution to something bigger than himself. That's what AA is all about. And we have to ask ourselves, how much are they contributing? Did you raise your hand? Oh, sorry. And I'm just going to digress for 1 second. There's a lot being written lately about how our culture is alienating. I'm not going to go on and on about this. But you know, you go to the grocery store, you buy some chicken, and it just doesn't really resemble a chicken in any way. I mean, there's this disconnect from this thing you see in the package. We work on computers, and many of us don't meet the people we do business with. We drive around in what motorcycle riders call cages, so that we're surrounded by people, but they're completely inaccessible to us as human beings. So there is this alienating feeling. All of this feeds this sense of alienation, and this can extend to our kids without us realizing it. So, you know, when you think about it, when your kids sit down at school to eat their lunch, did they pack their lunch? Did they help grocery shop for the food? When we drop them at sports practice, and I'm guilty of this one, did they pack their sports bag? Did they fill their water bottle? Did they grocery shop for their sports snack and pick it out? Or is it all just there? You know, there's kind of a disconnect. So, do your kids see a connection between their activities and the time and care that goes into creating their life? Or does it all just magically appear? When our kids were little, it felt really good to provide them with this very comfortable life that did magically appear. All their needs were taken care of. But they're older now, and they need to experience a connection to their activities and to their own motivation and effort. Doing too much for them robs them of a sense of responsibility, we know that, but it also robs them of meaning. And that can contribute to this alienated feeling like, what am I doing? It doesn't really, doesn't really add up for them. So I'll just say one more thing. When your son walks up the steps to the house, let him see the clean steps he swept himself. It's just an idea, and I know we're all out of time. And it takes time to say, honey, would you please sweep the steps? And then say, you missed those. It takes time. But when your daughter cuddles and smells, let your daughter cuddle and smell the dog she washed. Let her set a vase of flowers on the gleaming furniture that she polished. When your son uses a towel, let him connect it to the laundry he folded and he put away. There should be a natural connection to what they do every day. So research suggests that the best young employees these days are the ones from outside the U.S. These are the young ones. Some researchers believe this is partly because other cultures place such strong value on a child's contribution to the family, where in the U.S., parents have a tendency to knock themselves out pleasing our children, which can breed a sense of entitlement. We place a lot of emphasis on giving them a pain-free, really perfect childhood. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have a great, successful adulthood, because it can result in an adult who lacks empathy and depth, who thinks they're the center of the universe, and who has unrealistic expectations about what his adult life will give him. Yeah?
Isn't that just what they're saying about Generation Y? That
Yeah.
it's a whole generation of narcissistic, self-centered. That's the generalization, not all, of course, but that's what all the social psychologists are saying,
Yes,
right?
and you guys, I place nannies. I place young nannies, I place older nannies, and the young nannies, I mean, I've been doing this 13 years, and I have seen a difference, and I don't want to, belabor this or be negative about it, but in the last probably 7 years, my young nannies, I steer clear of that group if I can, and there's still good ones in there, but it's not what it was. The loyalty to the family isn't there. I go on their Facebook account because Why not? And the things I see, and then I call them up and I go, do you realize what's on Facebook? Oh, I haven't been on that thing in a year. And then there's the little date right there. And I'm just like, I can't place it. It's very hard for me to place the young gals. There are very good ones. But then I get somebody from outside the U.S., I get someone from Peru, or someone from Mexico, or from the UK, not necessarily the UK, but different cultures, and this work ethic is just there. And of course I'm thinking, you know, that's my bread and butter. Those are the gals where they're gonna stay, and in 5 years, a mom's gonna call me and say, okay, now we need a part-time nanny, she's been with us 5 years. So it is a little frightening, but you know, here we are, we're the parents, obviously you're all here, obviously we all really care, and within our own family, we can make a huge impact here. I did want to just say, I sat in so many of these chemical dependency meetings with these young kids who were completely blown away that life, and when I say young kids, these were early 20s, completely blown away that life was not meeting their expectations. I mean, blown away. And what do you do when that happens? Well, you reach for a substance. You don't know what to do about it. So, this is just one little piece. It's interesting, and I'm guilty of this. It's interesting that one of the main reasons we put our kids in sports is to protect them from falling into the drug culture. I mean, that's one reason we schlep them all around. And I'm completely pro-sports, by the way. But sometimes the sports take up so much time that the kids have no time to contribute to the family, and it's at this family level that they'll gain a fundamental sense of connectedness to a larger whole. We all want them to be connected to a team. What about the team at home that they see every day and sleep with at night? So I have one quick example on this. I was buying school supplies with my daughter at Staples, like the day before school was going to start, back in August. And there were a million families in there, and everybody was running around getting their stuff, and everybody was frantic. And we were kidding around, and I was kidding around with this one dad. And I said, "Where's your kid?" And he said, "He's at sports practice." And you know, it's a small thing, but it was interesting to me because we want our kids to be part of sports, so they're part of a team. But the team, he wasn't buying his supplies. So the parent was buying them, even though the children's going to use these supplies every single day, but there'll be no connection to this child, to the folders, the pencil sharpener, the binder. He didn't pick them out. He didn't take the time to do it. They magically appeared. And the message is very clear. The child's time is more important than the father's time. You're not going to see that in any other experience in his life where his boss's time will not be less important. I can't remember where I went on that. But anyway, so it was funny because I told this story to a girlfriend of mine who's an amazing mom. And I said, well, maybe they could have carved out some time. He didn't need to miss the practice. Maybe they could have carved out some time so the kid had to go just for the act of going through the aisles and dealing with it. And my girlfriend said, and once he gets there, he'll realize it's fun. Now that was really interesting to me. And she's a wonderful mother. But why does it have to be fun? And I think we get a little caught up, when they were little, everything had to be fun. They're in 6th grade, they're in 5th grade, does it have to be fun? So I thought that was kind of telling. It may not be fun at all for him. And on the surface, he may just not like the whole process. But it's still, if you have enough of these experiences, it can give him a feeling of competence, of worth, participation in his